Next up for 5 marks is a surd equation. And surds are things like square roots and cube roots. And how we cope with these is the opposite operation of a square root is a square. So we square both sides. So we just grab the equation and square both sides. Now on the left hand side, this square cancels with the square root, and we are just left with what is underneath the square root at the moment. And on the right hand side, we're going to analyze this a little bit further. So if I'm squaring something, I'm multiplying it by itself. So I'm just going to duplicate that bracket over there. Then 2 times 2 will give you 4. And root x times root x just gives you x. Another nice way of seeing it is the root of x is the same thing as x to the power of a half. And if you multiply those two guys, you add the exponents to get like 4x to the power of 1, which is the exact same thing as 4x. And then once we have dealt with squaring both sides, we're going to get our standard form. So this little 4x over here, he needs to move over to the other side of the equation. And just remember when you do that to change sign. So over here it's 4x, when I move it over it's minus 4x. Now I've officially got standard form. Now we start the process of factorization. And to kickstart that process, 5 is a beautiful little thing. It's a prime number. It's only got 2 factors, 1 and 5. So I need to add or subtract those to get negative 4. And to get minus 4, I'm going to have to say plus 1 minus 5. And we can formulate our 2 brackets now. So our first bracket will be x plus 1, as we see over there. And our second bracket will be x minus 5, as we see over there. Okay, now we hit the old pisang split and solve, my bro. So we equate factor 1 to 0, or we equate factor 2 to 0. And then we just yoink that 1 and minus 5 over to the other sides of the equation to give us our 2 answers of x equals negative 1 or x equals positive 5. But with surd equations, you've always got to check your answers. So we'll start off by testing this negative 1 here. So how we do that is we revert back to the original equation and we kind of type it into our calculator like this. But instead of an x, you leave open brackets. And I'm going to put that negative 1 in that bracket over there. And if I press equals, I get math error. So something's not quite right when I'm testing that x equals negative 1. It's giving me math error. So it must be an invalid answer. So we come to this equal sign over here and we put a stroke through it. Now we're going to test out the x equals 5. And when I test it out, I don't sort of retype it in my calculator. I just press left and then I replace this negative 1 over here with our other answer of x equals 5. And if I pop that in, I get 2 root 5 on the left hand side. Now I'm going to type this side of the equation into my calculator, leaving some open brackets where x is over there, and then I put my x value in, that 5, and yeah, you can see it gives me a 2 root 5 again. So when I test the x equals 5, it gives me the same thing on the left hand side and the right hand side, so that's working. So we leave it as is and we're officially done with the question now. And the 5 marks in this question come from every single step over here.